r/ask Reddit. If it ever turns out we're inside a simulation, what makes it kind of obvious in hindsight? The universal speed limit being so low that almost none of the universe needs to be simulated in any real detail. Yep, we really need to upgrade our video card so we can up the draw distance. Edit. All you mother duckers need to go to r/outside. I once was walking home drunk and a light pole only rendered after I walked into it. I swear. Everyone having the same conversations over and over. r/ask Reddit. Today I learned r/ask Reddit questions are commonly reposted. The fact that people keep trying to get me to show them how to make concentrated dark matter. Yep, weird. Out of curiosity, how do you make concentrated dark matter? Better question. Just how familiar is he with the Gear Wars? How fake the sky looks at times. I swear, half the time the clouds in my area look painted on. The sky gets so weird sometimes. People are making a lot of comparisons to the Matrix, but I could see the simulation of our lives being like the Truman Show. The sky and the painted on clouds are just a part of the set. Bernie Madoff made off with everyone's money. Anthony Weiner has repeatedly been caught sending pictures of his wiener. Come on, that's just lazy writing that no fiction editor would accept. I mean, a guy named Usain Bolt is the fastest man on earth. I mean, come on. The counter-argument is that there may be weird cognitive biases underlying these things. The kid with the last name Weiner is more likely to have wiener-related remarks thrown his way from an early age, thus raising his disposition to doing wiener-related things. The constant recycling of faces. Yup, and now that we have the internet, the truth can't be hidden anymore. It's not even just that. I've seen Anne-Margaret's face pop up on more new actresses than I can even believe. I'm not complaining. Anne-Margaret was fine as hell, and they're straight up just cloning that Zooey Deschanel in a lab somewhere and slapping singer/actress girl you saw on the freeway stickers on them. This thread, clearly a ploy to survey awareness within the simulation. Stay woke, people. That sometimes I'll think of a song randomly, and few moments later, I'll hear it somewhere around me. Having a dream about someone you haven't seen in a long time, then seeing them IRL the next day, or just thinking something, then the next moment somebody says what you were thinking. The sun and the moon are the exact same apparent size in the sky. The sun is something like 400x bigger and also 400x farther away. This trips me out every day. Think about it, has to be one of the biggest coincidences of all time. What makes it even more amazing is that it's only a recent phenomenon. Millions of years ago the moon was a lot closer, and is slowly moving away from us at about 1 centimeter a year. Give it a few more million years and it won't be the same apparent size as the sun. Since the moon is moving farther away, is the distance it moves each year getting larger exponentially? Like, as it gets farther away, Earth's gravity has a weaker effect on it. You know when you walk into a room and forget what you're doing? That's the simulation freeing up RAM. I always figured it's like when you tell a sim to do something then cancel the action. So many things taste like chicken. Like it is the default taste of meat when another taste isn't programmed in. But that one kinda makes sense. It's the taste of that kind of muscle. It also depends on what you feed them. So if you feed something the same thing you'd normally feed a chicken, it will taste like chicken, more or less. Also, presumably you can make chicken taste like something different if you change its diet. In The Sims, you tend to have a couple of favorite families with gigantic houses and tons of money. Everyone else lives in shitty little houses with shitty jobs. That sounds a lot like our world. Duck you whoever is playing the Sims version I'm in. Yep, duck you. Make me rich you son of a beach. I don't give a shit if you take the ladder out of the pool. I'm too poor to afford one anyway. You are now being audited by the IRS. No alien life discovered. You're looking at M, son. They're his testicles. The Planck length. Basically, the universe has a maximum resolution, and there can be 2 points that are not touching that are so close together that nothing could exist between them. The pixel IRL. Voxel. It's 2016 and printers are all garbage. And a majority of routers as well. https://www Edgemax Edge router light https router board RB750GR3 https router board RB952 UI5 AC tunes. There are lots of rock solid, super fast, surprisingly affordable routers suitable for home use. If you look into commercial industrial grade routers, surprisingly easy to configure as well. There's no need to get some piece of crap router from your ISP or Best Buy. Much better alternatives exist for the same price. Edit. Getting lots and lots of messages asking for more info. Check out r/Micritic and the fine folks there will help you if you want specific advice for your situation. Also, getting a new router won't help if the internet service itself is unreliable. E.g., replacing your router won't help if the wiring into your house is bad. It also won't help if you're trying to run 4 GHz Wi-Fi. There's too much interference and usually that spectrum is completely saturated. Replacing your router helps if you experience slowdowns, lockups, or disconnections that are remedied by turning the router off and back on. Or if you're trying to move from 4 GHz to 5 GHz. Deja vu. Sometimes it's so strong, you have to believe that there is something up. I don't have deja vu anymore. I dream something and then a few days later something 99% similar happens. Like in my dream it went one way but in reality it went a different way. And then you remember not just the dream but the perception that you back then had when you dreamt it. The fact that most of us have no clue about what we're doing. Nearly everything is explainable through mathematical formulas. To be fair though, I would imagine that is because that is kind of what we created mathematics to do. Every couple of years I would have a math teacher pose the question, is math invented or discovered? I like to think it's discovered. We don't create math, we just find more to it. When I think tilde, a console pops up in my field of vision. Is it a sign? When the console appears, try thinking unbind all and see what happens. How to become a vegetable tutorial. Quantum mechanics. All of it. Arbitrary constants limits, e.g., the speed of light being an absolute speed limit. I mean, if I were building a universe simulation, this would be a damn good way to never have to accurately simulate stars beyond a certain distance, and only have a basic model of other galaxies. I want to see a subreddit dedicated to this subject and I want you to spearhead the initiative. You have my complete confidence. People deciding that it'd be a good idea to give a snail $1,000,000,000 decoy snail. I still can't believe that to Rooster Teeth meta reference is now an Ascraded meta reference. That we've been making movies and stories about it for so long that it's just been called fiction. A lot of the background conversations I listen in on sound very basic, generic, and sometimes even fake. I heard a couple tonight say Ohio State 5 times in a row with nothing in between at a restaurant. I wouldn't have gone to college if it wasn't for that horse. That our bodies can't function without sleep. Battery must be low. Reminds me of a nice story on r/writing prompts about people needing to sleep 1/3 of the time in order to save processing power for the simulation. In the story, people realized and decided to stay awake to break the system. This thread, you're waking up. But how do we know the next reality is better than this reality? What if we really did duck up our planet and at the end of the 21st century the only way to keep people healthy and alive was to put their consciousness in a simulation? The earth is dying but we are underground somewhere imagining this. Faves and ideas are recycled because there are only so many survivors. We only have the illusion of 7 billion of us. Maybe it's more like hundreds. How many genuine souls can you say you met in your lifetime? If you're reading this, then you are a survivor as well. We have a pixel size, Planck length, and frame rate, Planck time. There are obvious hacks in our physics. There's a maximum speed and a minimum temperature. There's an observable universe, meaning there's a bounded space to simulate. Also, there's 3 separate sets of rules for physics. The physics for us medium-sized subjects keeps things interesting, but the physics for tiny particles, of which there is an absurdly large quantity, can't be examined individually to limit processor load. Then for the much larger objects, space and time bend as if they're creating overflow errors. Not to mention, the majority of matter and energy is invisible, as if hard-coded in to keep the universe from collapsing. Minimum temperature totally makes sense, though. Temperature at its core is a measure of the total kinetic energy of the particles in a system. If the particles are not moving at all, then you're at the minimum temperature. Based on our definition, there's no way to logically decrease temperature further because the system is already at its lowest possible kinetic energy. It would be much weirder if we found out that there was somehow an arbitrary temperature maximum. The whole point is that it wouldn't be obvious. What I want to know is what makes a simulated reality simulated and why that makes it unreal. I think the only reason to regard a simulated reality as unreal is if we exist partially outside of it, like in the Matrix. Even then, it only follows that reality as some conceive it is unreal, not that life within the simulation is unreal. If we exist wholly within a simulation, it is unclear to me what follows other than that reality happens to have a certain structure, e.g., reality could be like a Russian nesting doll, edited for clarification. It is unclear to me how that would be meaningfully different than reality just happening to have a certain structure. It would mean that there's something beyond our universe, something outside. Even if we can't get there, it'd be interesting to know, knowledge for knowledge's sake. Sort of. It would also mean that, even if we can't ourselves get out, we might be able to communicate out. That'd be fascinating. Imagine if we are some big Sims style video game and we manage to find a way to communicate outside of our universe. Whoever was playing the sim would freak the duck out. It would be akin to you playing the Sims and they starting trying to talk to you. The Norwegian fjords have clearly been designed by someone. Slartigbudfest. Bless you. That half the plot twists of 2016 make absolutely no sense. They're running out of ideas and are trying to revitalize interest with outlandish twists and the killing of longtime characters. Humans have jumped the shark. Basic probability. Look how many simulations are currently running inside our reality. Some of the simulations we run are complex enough to run other simulations or even multiple simulations within themselves. Why would it be reasonable to assume that any randomly selected instance is a top-level reality rather than a simulation? The most likely case is that we are not only inside a simulation but that simulation is also running inside a simulation. I've thought about this. I have no clue what the point of life is here or any other levels of existence. But what if it's like Inception where every level down time goes exponentially slower and in the top level we realized the universe was going to be destroyed. We created a simulation so we could live since the whole universe was going to die. Our purpose is to become advanced enough to create another simulation to go another level down and keep living. Sleeping. Nobody has any idea why sleep is necessary. We know what it does for our bodies. But why did we evolve to have our systems shut down for 1/3 of our entire lives? It's obviously just save game for whoever is actually playing the game our lives. Man, whoever's character I am, they must have terrible taste. I mean, sitting in my chair most of the day, not talking with anyone, not doing anything at all. The player must be some 5-year-old. You hear that, player? I assume I'm one of the tutorial sandbox characters that never goes into the real game. Time dilation effects at relativistic speeds. Lag. Really got? When I hear a new word somewhere, I start to hear that word everywhere. Glitches in the Matrix. Really obscure coincidences. My 4th grade boyfriend was in NC where I lived. My 9th grade boyfriend was in PA. As we moved there, I reconnected with both of them in the last 5 years thanks to Facebook, only to find out they were both gay and they'd ducked each other repeatedly while living in FL. My best friend boy lives in CA. His sugar daddy, girlfriend was from a town the size of a thimble, in GA. She was from the same town as my stepdaughter, and they had been friends in high school. With information from my stepdaughter, he was able to piece together that she was a giant con artist. It's like there's not actually millions of people in the world. There's actually just a few, and so there are connections that shouldn't occur if we applied actual laws of probability. Wait, a woman he met on Sugardaddy.com was a scam artist? Is there nothing we can believe in? Einstein's theory of relativity, and also how time slows down near heavier objects. It could be that objects with higher gravitational force take more resources and hence cause lag. Quantum mechanics and how things behave fundamentally different at macro and microscopic scales. A common trick used to increase efficiency by fudging calculations on complex systems. Adam Sandler movies. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.